Ashok Gehlot apologizes to the central team, denies staging a revolt. The High Command is unconvinced by Gehlot's denials. So who will be the Gandhi's preferred candidate in the Congress presidential polls? Is Gehlot off the race now? Snubbed, the Congress High Command mulls its options. Rupee hits an all-time low as major currencies crack against the dollar. The rupee slips well past 81.50 per dollar. Markets plunge over 1.6% at a near two-month low. Sensex down by 448 points, ends at 57,145. Bank of England is preparing for emergency intervention after pound slumps to all-time low of 1.09 to the dollar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emplanes for Tokyo. He will attend the state funeral of former Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo. PM Modi will also hold bilateral meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister. President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on Monday granting Russian citizenship to former US intelligence contractor Edward Snowden. US authorities have for years wanted Snowden returned to the United States to face a criminal trial on espionage charges. Marking a big shift in its manufacturing strategy, Apple says it'll assemble its flagship iPhone 14 in India as the US technology giant looks to shift some production away from China. Hello and welcome. You are with me, Rika Roy. At this hour, we start with some political developments. A rebellion by more than 90 loyalist MLAs may cost Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot his shot at the Congress chief's post. Though Ashok Gehlot has apologized for the situation, the Gandhis are reportedly upset with him for humiliating the Congress, and the High Command is mulling its options. So is Gehlot out of the race now? Has he gone from being the preferred candidate to a full-blown rebel? Mr. Gehlot is to file his nomination papers for the October 17 Congress presidential elections tomorrow. As the Rajasthan crisis peaked, another potential candidate, Kamal Nath, arrived in Delhi and is meeting Sonia Gandhi. He may mediate in the Rajasthan crisis. That's what NDTV has learned. But could there be more to this meeting?
The day after the Rajasthan revolt, the cold vibes apparent. Barely 2 minutes after Ashok Gehlot walked into this Jaipur hotel to meet Central Party observers, Ajay Maken and Mallikarjun Kharge. Ajay Maken walked out without meeting Mr. Gehlot, saying, why should he? The Chief Minister has also claimed he had no control over events last night, where the Congress MLAs skipped the CLP meeting and instead met at the house of Gehlot loyalists, where 90 MLAs protested the move by the High Command to make Mr. Gehlot's rival, Sachin, the Chief Minister. They even refused to meet the party's central observers. But Ajay Maken made it clear that the High Command isn't buying Mr. Gehlot's denials, given that observers had come purely at Mr. Gehlot's convenience.
कांग्रेस विधायक दल की मीटिंग मुख्यमंत्री जी से पूछ करके उनकी अनुमति से, उनकी सहमति से और उनकी कन्वीनियंस से रखा गया। मुख्यमंत्री निवास के ऊपर ही उन्होंने कहा शाम को 7 बजे रखना है, तो उनकी कन्वीनियंस से ही ये मीटिंग रखी गई, जो सबसे पहले आप सब लोगों को हम बताना चाहते हैं।
MLAs loyal to Sachin Pilot and Mr. Gehlot clashed over Mr. Gehlot's role in engineering the rebel gathering.
अगर उनकी प्रेजेंट में, उनके रहते हुए राजस्थान में ऐसा कोई भी होता है तो आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि उनकी सह के बिना ये काम हो ही नहीं सकता।
अशोक गहलोत जी ने एक विधायक से ये नहीं कहा। गहलोत जी के साथ में तन्नोट माता जी के मंदिर में सुबह निकला था, और गहलोत जी के साथ में हवाई जहाज में बैठा रहा, हेलीकॉप्टर में बैठा रहा, मंदिर में रहा, खाना साथ में खाया, वहां फोन पकड़ नहीं रहे।
The High Command has so far not indicated they will act against Mr. Gehlot. Instead, they may single out some of the key ringleaders of the revolt, like the Congress chief whip, who was personally calling the MLAs to the rebel meeting. Exactly what happens next is still unclear. But after the late night power play, it does appear that the High Command is probably rethinking their tactic to back Mr. Gehlot in his run for Congress President. With Uma Shankar Singh in Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
JP Nadda, who took charge of the BJP from Amit Shah in 2020, is likely to get an extension, sources said, with less than 2 years to go for the next general election and a sting of state elections before that. Now, the extension is likely to last till the end of Lok Sabha elections due in April-May 2024. Mr. Nadda's 3-year term is supposed to end in January 2023. According to BJP leaders, Mr. Nadda enjoys the confidence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and this decision was made possible in view of his good performance. Besides, the caste equations are also in favor of Mr. Nadda and works towards his retention. Now, the rupee witnessed a sharp 64 paise decline against the US dollar on Monday to hit a fresh low as unabated strengthening of the greenback wreaked havoc on the financial markets across the globe. Priyanshi joins us with the meltdown of the rupee, the news that has come in today and what that means to India.
Rupee has hit a new low. Markets have tanked and oil prices plunged to levels last seen in January. Rupee hit a record low for the third straight session. It weakened by 63 paise and ended at 81.62 per dollar. Overall this year, rupee is down by 10% from 74 per dollar in January to 81 per dollar now. Now, why is this really happening? There are recession fears across the globe, and in times of a global stress, investors are parking their money in safe dollar-based investments. That is why other currencies are falling against the dollar, that is at a 2-decade high. Now, it's not just the rupee. Even currencies of developed countries are falling. Pound fell to an all-time low of £1 equaling $1.03. There are also fears that demand for oil will go down in a recession. That is why Brent crude oil prices are also falling, and they're down to an 8-month low of $84 per barrel. Now, one important question for us is that will domestic fuel prices come down with international oil, since most of our fuel is imported? The answer, unfortunately, is that it's not very likely. Our fuel prices go up with international crude prices, but they don't come down likewise. One reason is that even though crude oil prices have fallen 2% in 8 months, the prices we have to pay in rupees has actually increased by 7% in the same period. This is because rupee has weakened against the dollar, so we now need more rupees to get a dollar's worth of goods.
Switching tracks now and onto the horrendous story that has come in from Uttarakhand. The mother of the 19-year-old receptionist whose murder sparked massive protests in Uttarakhand has claimed that her daughter was hastily cremated and she never got to see her body. She has accused the administration of tricking her into going to a hospital on the pretext of taking her to her daughter. News reports had earlier said that the mother was admitted to a hospital as she was unwell. However, a video has now surfaced where she has claimed that she was fine and was ferried to a hospital on false pretext.
More allegations of a cover-up against the Uttarakhand government and police in the Ankita Bhandari case. The 19-year-old receptionist was murdered, allegedly by a now expelled BJP leader's son and 2 others, after she resisted their attempts to push her into prostitution at his resort. In this viral video, Ankita's mother says her daughter was hastily cremated on Sunday evening and that she was not allowed to see her body. The mother also claimed she was instead forcibly brought to a hospital by the administration.
वहाँ जंगल से लाया गया कि अब मेरे घर जंगल में है कि चलो बेटे को देखने के लिए ना मैं पूछ भी रही थी कहाँ ले जा रहे तुम ना अरे जबरदस्ती ये ग्लूकोज चढ़ाया मेरे पे और उसके बाद वीडियो बनाओ निकाला वीडियो क्या बनाने वीडियो एक तो हमने भेज भी दी क्योंकि अब हमें तो तब पता चला जब पता है घाट पे ले गए थे मेरे को बोले कि आए 4-5 लोग आए ना कि चलो घाट पे चले मैंने कहा मैंने जाना ही नहीं घाट पे.
Ankita was cremated on Sunday evening amid massive protests against the police for alleged slow action. and questions over the way this resort of the accused, a crucial spot for evidence, was demolished. The police claim they are probing who gave the demolition order, but the Chief Minister today appeared to back the action.
SIT पूरी तरह से एक DIG स्तर के अधिकारी की नेतृत्व में बनाई गई है, वह भी उस पर काम कर रही है। हर पहलू का, हर जांच से जुड़ा हुआ इस साक्ष्य हों, वो सारे के सारे साक्ष्य वहां पर पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित हैं। किसी प्रकार का भी कोई भी साक्ष्य मिटाने का प्रयास नहीं होगा। माननीय उच्च न्यायालय से भी अनुरोध करेंगे कि जल्दी से जल्दी इसमें फास्ट ट्रैक के लिए एक अलग से कोई अदालत गठित की जाए या अदालत में ऐसी व्यवस्था की जाए।
At Ankita's village, a 2-kilometer trek from the nearest road in Uttarakhand's Pauri Garhwal district, her distraught father recounted how the 19-year-old had left for a job just a month ago, hoping to contribute to the family income. Ankita's family alleges the local officials and accused tried to hush up the case.
आज जनता में समझ जनता से अनुरोध करता हूं कि आप इसी ढंग से जब तक इनको हैशटैग के तहत इनको फांसी की सजा नहीं दी तब तक मेरे साथ कंधे पे कंधे मिलाकर मेरा साथ दी।
With camera person Prem Singh and correspondent Alok Pandey and Mukesh Sengar, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
On to Assam now. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has denied allegations by two activists that he, Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev and Tourism Minister Jayanta Malla Barua broke wildlife protection law by entering Kaziranga National Park for a night safari. Two activists in Assam have filed a police complaint against Sadhguru, Mr. Sarma and Mr. Barua, alleging that they entered the national park, home of the Indian one-horned rhino, much beyond the scheduled visit time on Saturday.
Controversy over these visuals viral on social media. That shows spiritual guru Jaggi Vasudev and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma driving an open safari SUV at night at the famous Kaziranga National Park, home to the one-horned rhino. Two activists have filed a police complaint, claiming the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 bans safari tour inside the national park after a scheduled time to protect the animals and keep their habitat relatively untouched.
একেখন আইন উলংঘা কৰি মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা সদগুৰু তথাকথিত সদগুৰুক কেনেকৈ ইয়াত গাড়ী লাইট জ্বলাই আৰু আইন ভংগ কৰি সময়ৰ দেউনা পাৰ কৰি যেটো সময় 4:30 ভিতৰলৈকে কাজিৰঙা ৰিজাৰ্ভ ফৰেষ্টৰ ভিতৰত সোমোৱাটো এটা বিধি আছে সেই বিধি উলংঘা কৰিবলৈ কেনেকৈ পালে।
After the outrage on social media, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and Jaggi Vasudev's Isha Foundation both claimed permissions were taken for the night safari.
এনেকুৱা কথা একো নাই। ওয়াইল্ডলাইফ এক্ট মতে ওয়াইল্ডলাইফ ওয়ার্ডেনে যেতিয়াই অনুমতি দিয়ে ৰাতি 2টা বজাতো মানুহ যাব পাৰে। এনেকুৱা কোনো আইন নাই যে মানুহ ৰাতি যাব নোৱাৰে।
At Kaziranga, normal tourists can enter only during the stipulated hours, which are 7:30 AM to 4:30 PM. But Forest Department officials say there was nothing wrong with the VIP visit.
I personally feel that there is a hidden agenda behind it to defame Kaziranga National Park, and the people who are making these statements, they definitely are not aware about the actual facts, and they have not even tried to know the facts behind it. So you see, all the guests that gathered at that point of time, they were all invited by us.
Police sources say that they have already written to the forest authorities asking for a response on the complaint. But what remains to be seen on whether this high-profile park safari turns out to be a bad optics or not. In Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
The condition of government schools in Madhya Pradesh remains abysmal. Government schools have long been afflicted by low-quality teaching and dearth of infrastructure, leading to learning gaps in the state.
Class 6 to 8 students cooking rotis and sweeping the floors of their dormitories at this government residential school in Madhya Pradesh, Anuppur district. 600 kilometers away in Guna, this viral video shows girl students of a primary school in the Chakdevpur village cleaning toilets and washing the floor by fetching water from a hand pump on the school premises. These visuals contradict Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan's recent claim of a world-class infrastructure at Madhya Pradesh government schools.
विकास के शीर्षाधिकारी को भेज के इसकी जांच करा लेते हैं। जांच के बाद सच्चाई सामने आ जाएगी। हम इस मामले की गंभीरता से जांच कर रहे हैं। अगर इस जांच में सत्यता पाई जाती है तो शिक्षकों के विरुद्ध कड़ी अनुशासनात्मक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
This government school building in the Khargone district has been unfit for use with its dilapidated roof for 5 years now, and students have to study under a tree in front of the school. The school administration says multiple reminders to concerned officials for repairs has been of no use. According to a survey by the school education department, 1/3 of Madhya Pradesh 1 lakh primary and middle schools do not have electricity connections. Classrooms in 1/5 of these 1 lakh schools are damaged, while toilets in 11,409 schools are in poor condition. 21,077 schools have only one teacher. Madhya Pradesh had a 23.8% school dropout rate in 2021. Claims are being made to implement world-class standards in government schools of Madhya Pradesh, but the reality is quite the opposite. It's hard to believe, but more than 10,000 girls have quit studies owing to poor security and lack of toilets across the state. In Bhopal, with camera person Rizwan Khan and Anurag Bhari for NDTV.
It's shocking how learning time is being taken up by all other activities by the school children, and the administration is not worried about the learning gap. Time for a very quick break on the show. More on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emplaned for Tokyo to attend the state funeral of former Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo. PM Modi will also hold bilateral meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister during his Tokyo visit. Now, Sri Lanka has been struggling with its worst economic crisis in over 7 decades. This has not only led to a shortage in essentials but also the ouster of a president. My colleague Sakshi Bajaj interacts with Mr. Harin Fernando, the Minister of Tourism for Sri Lanka, on how the country will battle these challenges.
India, China and Japan are key creditors really to Sri Lanka. What would be your message to them currently?
We will honor our commitment. That's number one. Sri Lankans will not shy away and be a bankrupt country. We have enough assets. I always say Sri Lankans are sitting on a treasure. It's just how you market yourself and get the right people and the productivity out. So Sri Lankans, as I said, is resilient. We will fight back and we will honor our commitments. And I'm made to believe by my president. He has all that planned, and I'm very close with his negotiation and negotiating teams. So I know how he has planned it out. So be confident Sri Lankans would not be bankrupt for more than another 6 months. We will come back up strongly. We have lots of people who have taken wing abroad for work. The foreign remittances is starting to coming in. Tourism is going to come in. So our country's economy or the revenue revolves around tourism, foreign employment and apparel exports. So all three of those sectors have been looked up and they're working on. That's 60% of our revenue in our country. So we're quite certain that we will come through. And also we are attracting the world with lots of visa changes. So anybody who comes to Sri Lanka, they can have a 5-year multiple visa for $250 where they can stay for 90 days at one go. And also we are on the negotiation of accepting Indian rupees, the rubles. So we're doing all of that. So hopefully we will have our work cut out, but I'm 100% sure by end of this year, we will be back to normal as we were.
Now, President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on Monday granting Russian citizenship to former U.S. intelligence contractor Edward Snowden. The U.S. authorities have for years wanted Snowden returned to U.S. to face a criminal trial on espionage charges. Well, Apple today announced that it is excited to manufacture its flagship iPhone 14 in India as the U.S. technology giant looks to shift some production away from China. Apple's main iPhone assembler, Foxconn, is manufacturing the devices at its Sri Perumbudur factory on the outskirts of Chennai. But no, it does not mean that the prices will get cheaper because they are being assembled in our backyard.
If you are considering purchasing an iPhone 14 soon, you might just spot a Made in India sticker on the packaging. Apple has today announced that it will start manufacturing both the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus in India at its Chennai plant. The manufacturing facility, set up in collaboration with Foxconn, has been manufacturing iPhones since 2017. However, this is the first time that the latest model will be produced in India immediately after launch. Previously, manufacturing for current generation products would start 6 to 8 months after sales started. Apple issued a statement saying that they are very excited to be manufacturing iPhone 14 in India. Historically, Apple has not reduced prices for Made in India products, even though the company stands to benefit from the Digital India and Make in India incentives offered by the government. That said, increased production should help create more job opportunities in the manufacturing sector. Expediting manufacturing of the latest iPhones in India further implies that Apple is banking on India to serve as a major manufacturing center for local and global consumption. Additionally, it could also signal further investments in the technology and production capabilities of local facilities to be able to produce the latest smartphones by Apple. Rubina Mongia, NDTV.
And finally, the iconic 10-day Mysuru Dasara festivities have kicked off at the Mysuru Palace. In Karnataka, the Mysuru Palace have been decked in full glory. In her first, President Draupadi Murmu is on her first state visit as the President. She inaugurated the Mysuru Dasara festival. We'll get you those pictures of the President inaugurating the festival.
Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swava Swaha Namostute.
Well, that's all we could wrap into this bulletin. Thanks for watching.